Good evening. Welcome to From the 80s View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Today is a very special guest, a little brother from a different mother. We're going to welcome assistant men's basketball coach Shaun Gutting to the show today. Coach Gutting, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Dr. Brown. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We just getting up a little college football on ESPN today. Trying to get ready for that college football season because your basketball season is not going to be too far away.
Be here,
Coach,
be here before you know it.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, be here before you know it, man.
Before you know it. Before you know it. Hey, we got some nice topics for today's show, right? So give me one or two words on each one of these topics. JUCO life.
Character building.
Transfer portal.
Get with it or get gone.
Okay. And the impact of coaching college athletes.
Growthful mindset.
All right. These topics and more on From the 80s View. Let's get it. Welcome back to the show. And before Coach Gutting and I start talking about these topics, I'd like to give honor to God, who is the head of my life, because without him, none of the things that I do would be possible. He's allowed me to be a father, a husband, a professional in the profession that I'm in right now. And I love to do that because I get to impact young people every single day. But I want to make sure that I absolutely give him honor and give him all the praise and the glory for everything that goes on in my life. Now let's bring back Coach Shaun Gutting. Coach, you had a great career thus far, and you're a young guy, right? Former men's student manager at Colorado State University, former assistant men's coach at New Mexico Junior College, former assistant and head coach of men's basketball at Casper College, and currently the assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University. Again, Coach Gutting, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Brown. I think you forgot I was an intramural basketball champion back at Colorado State. So come on, man. Don't forget about the playing.
Tell him you did. Hey, chips. We about those chips. We winning chips.
No matter what level, all right? Championships are championships.
Yeah, heater on the wrist, heater on the wrist. Vision, dimes.
Always ready to fire, man.
always. Hey, Coach, tell our viewers a little bit about Shaun Gutting, man. I mean, you've had a remarkable young career. Started out as a manager at the Division I level, worked your way through high school, went through JUCO, and now back at the Division I level. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Coach.
I would say part of my journey has just been an acceptance of what it takes to get to where I wanted to go and where I do want to go. I had a naivete to me coming out of high school. The one thing I did know is that I probably wasn't going to be a high-level player. I had a couple opportunities to play small college basketball, but I knew I was going to be a coach. My dad's a coach. My brother played. Coaching just kind of runs in the family. So I knew early on that was going to be my calling. And, so I tried to skip the playing part and just go straight into that. And it was a lot of hard work, a lot more hard work than I probably anticipated going into it. And, I had a lot of really great mentors, a lot of people who really helped me understand the truthfulness of this business and how to get to this level, but also just, how to be my best version of myself for our players.
Yeah.
And I think I've been very, very lucky and fortunate with that, to have the experiences at so many different levels, knowing that I can see it from a lot of different sides, what these athletes are going through, what their families go through with the recruiting process and trying to get, to where they want to go. I've been very, very lucky, man. So, I think one of the things, for me moving forward is staying goal oriented.
Absolutely.
Trying to pursue the things that I dream of and want, but at the same time, being myself, not changing who I am, being okay with how I got here, being okay with what it takes for me personally to keep getting better and keep growing.
And that's the JUCO life. That's the JUCO mentality, right? At the JUCO level, I was head men's basketball coach at JUCO level, assistant men's basketball coach at the JUCO level. You and I share a similar path, right? Assistant, then head coach.
Yep.
Have to learn how to do more with less, right? And sometimes it was van driving before you were able to get your program to where you can take charter buses and things like that.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about JUCO life from your perspective, Coach.
That was another thing. Like me as a young coach, I was so naive to it at the time. Like when I got on in New Mexico Junior College, it was for a former coach of mine, James Miller, who's now at Oklahoma State. He hired me as a volunteer assistant. And, I didn't realize the level of players that, especially in a league that we were in the WAC down in West Texas, that we would be around. And at the same time, the amount of work it would take, by our staff, which was, we were lucky enough, we had 3 guys, myself included. Most JUCO staffs have 2. As the volunteer assistant, it was a crash course in college basketball right away. I remember our first road trip, my first year at New Mexico Junior College. We were on a school bus, old school bus, driving to Missouri to play Missouri West Plains and Three Rivers, I believe.
Know them well.
And
know them well.
This is a trip. Now, mind you, this is a trip from Hobbs, New Mexico, man. So this is like a 15-hour drive. This is probably our first or second road trip. And
in a school bus.
Yep, in a school bus in the dead of winter. And I'll never forget it because halfway on the ride, we found out that the heater stopped working on the bus.
JUCO life.
This is like late November, early December. So we're on this trip, and everybody's complaining about how cold it is, and we're just trying to get there. So we can play some games. Luckily, it helps because we had 2 future NBA players and All-American on that team. So it's pretty good, because we showed up and we won both games and kind of put ourselves on the map that year with how good we were. So it made the journey back a lot less cold. I will tell you that much.
Yeah.
But, the hotel staff at our hotel are giving us blankets and pillows that they're about to throw out just so we can use them on the bus because we didn't have any heat. I mean, that was, those are the things that you just fly into in junior college, and you got to roll with it. You got to roll with
Absolutely.
the punches. What are you going to do? So it teaches you a really early on
appreciation
of the things you don't have, you do have.
Absolutely.
And also knowing like just to become a problem solver. How are we going to fix this so that we can get through it?
Sure. Sure. Your leadership skills they grow immensely, right? Mm-hmm. At that JUCO level, right? Because you have to literally almost do it all. Right. Yep. You're the coach, you're the administrator, you're the compliance person, you're the academic person. So you have to do it all. Coach, what is the biggest misconception about JUCO athletics and JUCO education?
That it's unorganized. I mean, the thought process and the misconception that it's unorganized and it's just, hooping, rolling the ball out. And there's no thought process to it is a giant misconception. I would say some of the best coaches that I've ever seen, I've seen in junior college. And these Absolutely. Are some guys that don't ever go Division I.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want to. But
Todd Franklin at Vincennes University is one great junior college basketball coach.
Right. I mean, you said, when we were in the WAC, we would play, Steve Green at South Plains, right? I mean, there's guys that just – Trey Arnold. There's guys that are just really, really good at what they do. And you have to, it's more of a mano-a-mano competition. Yep. At the Division I level and D2, there's some D2s, there's a lot of people on that bench, right? Yeah. Like it's at the JUCO level, there's 2 of you, and you're going against those other 2 over there.
Right.
So you learn a lot. You see some elite level coaching, guys that really kind of give, you a run for your money, no matter what you think X's and O's wise, versus also being able to connect with young athletes.
Absolutely. What about the competition level at the JUCO level? What about that competition? And let's go Division I JUCO competition.
Mm-hmm. I've been fortunate enough that like the league that I was coaching in New Mexico Junior College is one of the best leagues in the country. I know you and I go back and forth all the time about who's the best league in the way. That argument will never die.
I'm the Grack all day, baby. Yeah. 24. Come on now.
But I think it is it's one of those things where you don't know it until you see it in person and you experience it. Because a lot of times, we get phone calls from people that would try and pitch us on a kid or tell us about a kid in high school and say, well, I think after 2 years, he could be this. I think after this year, he could be that. And, in a lot of those leagues, and especially in the WAC-JAC, we need a bona fide guy right now, right? We need a guy that is a Division I player and can't go Division I for one reason or another.
Absolutely.
Like he's right now. And that was, my adjustment trying to get, and I don't think people understand that, right? They just don't know until they see it live personally multiple times. And when I was at Casper, it was the same thing. Region 9 is an underrated conference.
Tough region.
The travel's tough. You always have good coaches. You always have well-coached teams, tough kids, that just do exactly what they're told. And that's kind of what, you deal with in that region. And you got to be able to fight through some of that stuff and have really talented players, day in and day out. You can't just have guys that have the potential. If I had 7 guys with potential, we're probably getting beat.
Right.
You need
under 500 or 500.
You need some dudes, right? Guys that are dudes.
Absolutely.
And I would say, I always go back to this and again, in my first year at New Mexico Junior College, I was just a fly on the wall trying to learn everything I could from Ryan Laurie and James Miller, because they had recruited the team. They had done all the work. I just showed up to try and help and learn. And, that year we had an All-American who started 2 years at Oklahoma State after us, and 2 guys that now currently play in the NBA, make NBA money, that have both been starters in the NBA on the same roster. And we lost in the Sweet 16. That tells you how good junior college was.
Absolutely.
And is, man. I mean, it's
absolutely,
it's tough,
and it's tough to get to Hutch, right? I've been to Hutch once in my lifetime. Yep. I was an assistant coach at Minorary College, and it's tough, right? And you think that, you have a freshman team that's really good, and you make it to Hutch, and you're like, oh, we returning everybody. We getting ready to go back.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But live in the moment. Yep. Basket right now. You have one assignment, right? You have one assignment, and that is to get to Hutch and get through the first game. As you get through that first game, all bets are off. Everything else, because everything on that first game for everybody can be crazy. Absolutely. So, Coach, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and we just talked about a little bit, right?
Okay.
Top Division I JUCO conferences in the country, and they don't have to be in any order.
I'm gonna have to list all of them because I'm gonna piss off.
No, not all of them. Give me 3. Give me 3 or 5. Give me 3 or 5.
I still got to recruit from these leagues, man.
Yeah.
The WAC-JAC, West Texas.
Okay,
that's my own personal bias, but I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
The Florida JUCO League.
Okay, the Panhandle.
Panhandle, and man, I got to either go East Texas or Kansas, but I know they're both mad at me for not picking one.
I
know everybody in the Midwest is mad at me already.
That's okay. But and you're right. All of the conferences that you named, Jayhawk Conference, right? That you named. We have the conference that has Indian Hills and Southeastern Iowa that come out of that conference with Iowa Western.
Right?
Yes.
The rivalry in junior college, Southeastern and Indian Hills. I mean, you see the pictures of their crowds and the video. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like going to an FCS game somewhere, right? Because they're holding the Midwest down. And then again, You go with the Great Rivers Athletic Conference that I was in. You have Vincennes, you have Wabash, you have Swick, Lakeland College, where I was at. I mean, night in, night out, they're beating each other up just to get to the automatic bid by winning the region or the district, right? And then you might get an at-large if you're Hutch, no pun intended, or or if you're one of those more storied schools, the Vincennes universities and things like that. But it's absolutely great basketball at that level. Unbelievable basketball.
And you brought it up too, Dr. Brown, like the challenge of getting to Hutch it's harder than almost any level. I mean, there's only 24 teams.
24.
Any given year, any of those leagues you just named, Region 18. I mean, Utah, right? Salt Lake, CSI. I mean, any given year, any of those leagues could be just as good or better than another one.
Absolutely.
And, so all of a sudden you're getting down to the point again where it's like some leagues are only going to get one team in, and that league's tough, right? Like
tough.
I don't know, man.
I wish we had the money at the JUCO level that we could do 68 teams. What a tournament.
Yeah,
that would be.
Yeah, even if even expand it to 32.
32. Yeah, 32, that would. What kind of tournament would that end up being, man? That would be crazy.
Yeah, you would get teams winning national titles every year that you might not expect.
Absolutely. North Dakota School of Science.
Yep.
They popped us off at the first ever Fiesta Bowl shootout in Arizona. And they had a kid there. We were talking about it one day. I can't remember his name. Guard, about 6'2". He just went off. And we were the number 12 team in the country. And then Monroe College was the number 1 team in the country. They got beat. We got beat. And then we beat Monroe College by 25 that year. But I had dudes that year.
Get back.
Hey, Coach, stay with me, man. I got to pay some bills. We got to go to a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some great other topics. You're watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. We'll be right back after this break.
Renting is everything. It's style at your doorstep. Off the runway and into your closet. It's every trend you've been dying to try and every designer you've yet to discover. It's wearing it your way every time and making it count everywhere you go. It's never worrying about what to wear because something new is always coming your way. That's why renting is everything. New styles, top designers, all for a flat monthly fee. Start your subscription at renttherunway.com.
Slow roasted over hickory fire and pulled by hand. This is the way pit pork has always been done. Pulled pork lovers, rejoice. The smoky old days are back at the Smoke Shack. From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What would we do without it?
Welcome back to the show. You're watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Before we bring back our guest, I'd like to talk a little bit about my book. This was something that was a great project for me. It was a surreal moment for me to put this together. I had an opportunity to meet with a lot of my mentors that are in the business that I'm in, and they are already or were already ADs at the Power Five or Power Four conferences now, and where I aspire to be. And so the book is How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo. It's an NCAA institutions. It's a narrative inquiry. Had an opportunity to sit down and talk to about 12 to 15 sitting or former ADs, and three themes came up, right? Benefits of role models, right? Having a role model, someone to lean in on, role model expectations, what their expectations were of their mentees, and then if there were perceived or real racial barriers, how could we overcome those things in a positive manner? So it's a great read. You can go get it at Amazon.com. Again, it's How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo in NCAA Institutions. It's a narrative inquiry. It's an easy read. There are some technical things in there with regards to research, but it's a read that I believe it's worthwhile, and hopefully it helps someone. You can find our show From the AD's View on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Cedric M. Brown. The call sign is at From the AD's View. If you'd like to see past episodes, you can go to my YouTube channel there, Dr. Cedric M. Brown, or at From the AD's View. The show can be seen Sunday evenings at 6:40 Central, 7:40 Eastern Standard Time for more open and honest, relatable topics on the show. Now let's bring back assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University, Coach Shaun Gutting. Coach, we left off and almost got lost in our JUCO life. Two JUCO guys, in it. But Coach, this transfer portal, right? The transfer portal is revolutionizing or evolution. It's an evolution of college basketball, even more so now. How has what's the best part about the transfer portal, Coach?
I would say the best part about it from a coach's perspective and a program perspective is that you're always going to have an opportunity to change your personnel if you need to. You're always going to have an opportunity to improve, to get better players, or get different players, just personality wise. And I think from an athlete's perspective and overall perspective, it provides some freedom of choice for, our athletes to get out of situations that might not be what's best for them or might not be working out for them. There's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives to it. I think just finding the right balance is probably key, but at this point it is what it is. It's just, you got to adjust and you got to grow with it. And it's like you said, evolutionary is constantly changing. There's no written rule right now that's going to stick around for the next year, next 2 years. Like they're constantly going to be changing it to try and find the right way to do it.
Oh, don't I know? I mean, we have.
Yeah, you guys get more of that than we do, but
we are constantly in all kinds of compliance meetings. We're proposed legislation, Q&As, all those kind of things, and the staff at SUU in compliance does an absolutely fabulous job. They're very, very good at what they do, and it helps us support the coaches, and it helps support the student athletes. So, Coach, let's pivot just a little bit. What is your philosophy for recruiting now with the transfer portal?
Part of it's speed dating, and I would say, this, Dr. Brown, too, and you hate to keep going back to it, but it's my experience, the junior college route.
JUCO, baby.
Every year you're going to sign 7 to 12 players.
Right.
I'd say the philosophy is trusting the people you have relationships with that know these players.
Yep.
The connections that you have with people that have had either past experiences with these players or are, attached to them in some way as family, friends, coaches, former coaches, whatever, trainers, trusting them. You got to get to know the players fast. It's speed dating. It's not a situation where, you can get to know these guys for 3 years. I mean, they're in the transfer portal. You got to know them, quickly, month to month. Somebody's jumping in. I think that there's also a trust of knowing that I still think there is an establishment of recruiting the same as before, recruiting guys from high school, recruiting guys that, could help your program, because it's going to be down the road that they do it. It might not be right now.
Absolutely.
Most likely that 3 or 4 star is going to end up in the portal somewhere at some point. Are they going to remember you? Are they going to remember how they felt when they talked to you?
Yep.
Maybe at a situation where you didn't have the resources that met what they need. But now their situation has changed, right? Or your situation has changed. I think if ever before, it's more compounded on relationships than it was.
Yeah.
Just relationships that are a little bit more about what it's about as opposed to the other things.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think it's ever evolving. It's the philosophy will change probably in 6 months, but I'm pretty confident with that, with how it is now. And our staff has really embraced that. And I think that honestly, that's why there's going to be more opportunities for guys who have gone through junior college ranks as coaches.
Yeah.
To get jobs at a 4-year level, Division I, Division II, Division III, because of that. Because their experience is that they just got to, be able to vet people and players quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, Coach. Mm-hmm. You talked about how coaching shaped your life and everything. Mm-hmm. And as I've gotten to know you, I understand the passion that you have, right? And the personality that you have, because we have some fun in the office, buddy. When you look back, Coach, what are relationships all about for the players, coaches, your network? What are relationships all about for you?
To me, I think, the best way to just make sure they're genuine, whatever way they can be. And I have people that I have relationships with that know that, hey, we might not talk on the phone once every 6 months, but it's real and it's genuine when we do. Because I'm the same person no matter what. No matter what our situation is, things don't work out with a player, things don't work out with a recruit, whatever it is, life situations, things going on in your life. And I always got to improve at it, because I'm not the best at always communicating with people, but that I've known for a long time, just because I get into a comfort level with people where I just assume that we're good. Constantly checking on people is important. But also just knowing that genuinity and truly just having a relatable energy. I always talked about, like, my relationship with our players, especially at junior college, was they can tell if you're being fake.
They can sure.
They can tell if a lot of these kids have experiences of one way or another of human beings in their life before that might not be genuine. And so by the time they get to you, what they need from you is knowing exactly who you are.
Right. And less about the basketball, right? Less about the athletics. And it's really about, how can you pour into my life? Right. Mm-hmm. That's what I need to know. How can you pour into my life? Because they will, in this generation, with the young people, the Gen Zs, they will absolutely tell you how they feel and what they need.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
And
they are to a fault at a lot of times.
And they are absolutely 100% sure about what they're talking about. Right. Because all they're asking for is some honesty. Mm-hmm. Right. And sometimes they don't want the honesty, but they're asking for it, right? And basically what they're looking for is some love, right? They're just looking for some love, somebody to be a part and be genuine, like you said before. Before we go, Coach, I want you to we're not going to mention names or anything like that, but I want you to talk a little bit about T-Bird hoops and WAC basketball. Come on, Coach, give it to me, man.
Man, I mean, where do you start? I feel very lucky and fortunate. There's those two words again that I constantly just describe my life, to be at a place that is trying to be competitive, is playing on such a great stage, playing in such a great league, trying to find a way to win it. Basketball in the WAC is physical, tough, beyond anything you can imagine until you see it, live, up close, in person. Talented players, great coaches. It reminds me of some of those JUCO leagues on steroids.
On steroids.
And it's crazy, the talent that, especially now with the transfer portal, how many guys come back to this league and get in this league and play for good coaches that know how to put them in spots to make sure they're pros. And there's a lot of professional players in our league. Southern Utah has been so open and welcoming to me, to all of our staff since we've been here, and very supportive of what do you need to try and, do this thing. The previous staff did such a great job. We want to carry on, how that tradition has gone and keep moving forward with the program and trying to help it grow and make sure that, it's a name that people recognize.
Absolutely.
And I think our commitment to that matched with what the school has, it's been phenomenal. It's been so fun so far. I think, part of the experience for me has just been, working with individuals and working with people on our staff who know that it isn't just about basketball.
Absolutely.
They allow us to have a life, have our moments where we know we need to step away, and have our moments of knowing, all right, it's time to get to work.
Right.
And understanding the value of those differences. It's been so important to me. And, I think it's important to everybody's mental health to have that, fine line of cut between the two.
It is.
But it is. Man, this league and SUU hoops. I mean, we rehashed a little bit this year. We did bring back 4 guys that have experience that played for us last year. Which is
going to be crucial.
Meaningful minutes, guys who scored, guys who've done little things on the floor, that know Coach Jeter, that know our staff.
Yep.
And then we brought in a bunch of guys that are eager, have chips on their shoulders, need to earn, show everybody what they are.
Absolutely.
And guys that want to be here. I think they all have a mindset of, we want to be here, we're excited to be here. How can we make sure that this is our best situation?
It's been fun to watch, right? On both sides. On the men's side with Rob Jeter, who's an outstanding coach, seasoned, 30 years at every level, FBS, Group 5, now FCS. He just knows it. And then Tracy on the other side, she does an absolutely fabulous job. Went to won the WAC, went to the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, and is still grinding with her women and doing the thing. So both on both sides, men's and women's side, SUU hoops is going to be exciting this year. And as we close, Coach, I ask every guest the same question: what does faith or spiritualness mean to you, Coach?
In summary, I would say trusting and believing in the hearts of the people around you.
Okay.
I think having faith that people mean to do what's best for the others around them and not just themselves. That to me is what faith is. I think I was raised a Catholic,
sure,
born in a Catholic household,
sure,
Irish Catholic. If you couldn't tell from the red beard,
just a little bit. Just a little bit, Coach.
It's tiny. And, I think that giving my mother, my family, that side of it gave me values early on to understand how to be a good person.
Yes, sir.
And I think I truly have faith. To me is knowing that not everybody was raised the same, but ultimately we have human nature to understand, like, we care about individuals, we care about others. Some people more than others do. Some people are more built for servant leadership. And that's okay. But deep down, faith to me is having faith that individuals care about other people.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Coach. I appreciate that, man. And Coach, if there's a potential prospective student athlete out there looking for a basketball home and they just saw this and they think Southern Utah University might be the place, how can people get in contact with you, Coach?
I got my email, my school email, shaungutting@suu.edu. I check it daily. And then I also, Twitter @Coach Gutting, really simple. Instagram, I probably need to get that too. I need to get my followers up on Instagram. All the kids tell me I'm weak on that. I don't know. I'm out on that. TikTok, I don't know. I don't know how to
Right. We gotta get one.
Let's coach, man, but I don't know. My age starts to show a little bit. Let's do it.
Let's do a JUCO Life TikTok out there sometime. We'll get together, man. Me and you.
Hey,
we'll get
if
it together.
Anybody wants to try even holler at me about their favorite rappers of all time, their favorite movies of all time, I'm fair game. We can talk, man. Let's go.
Fair game. We have great conversations about those things, right? Oh, yeah. But hey, Coach, man, I appreciate you, and I do say this, and I mean it sincerely, that your ceiling is infinite, brother. You are right. You are a rising star in this business, and that JUCO experience, I see it with you every single day. How you think about things, your approach to things, and how it helps, and how we have gotten better, because of it at this level. And I believe that you and Coach Jeter and the rest of the staff are going to kill this thing. And at some point in time, you're going to be sitting back in that seat, running your own program, and some AD and some president is going to be all the better for it to having Shaun Gutting run their men's basketball program. So again, a brother from a different mother, a Mister, a brother from another Mister. I absolutely am fond of what you're doing, bro, and I thank you for coming on the show today.
I appreciate that. Those are really kind words. Thanks, Dr. Brown. I'm happy to be here, man. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Hey, I'd like to thank assistant men's basketball coach Shaun Gutting for being on the show. And as I close the show today, I just want to talk a little bit about what we talked about in our show today, the misconception of smaller schools, right? We talked a lot about JUCO today, right? And at the JUCO level, we have 3 levels at the JUCO level, right? You have Division I that can give you a full ride, Division II that, won't give you the full ride, but give you most of the financial aid that you need to get you a degree and play some good basketball. And then you have Division III, which is more of a academic type of situation, and then they couple some other student school aid and things like that, but no financial aid from no athletically related aid. But everybody's path is different, right? Everyone can't go play Division I sports, Division I athletics. Sometimes you have to go a route that gives you an opportunity to become acclimated to college life. You're on your own. Mom and dad are no longer waking you up in the morning, telling you to go to class. It's on you, right? And so you become the CEO of your academic and your athletic life. So I wouldn't count out 2-year school opportunities. I wouldn't count out small Division II opportunities. I wouldn't count out Division III opportunities. What we say in this business, you got to get in where you fit in. And wherever that fit is for you, you do the best that you can for you at that opportunity, because there have been Division III guys that play in the NBA. There have been the Division III guys that play in the NFL. There have been Division III guys that go and play in the MLB. So you find your fit. You find your fit. Get in where you fit in. You're watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Good night. God bless.